Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate all four of you willing to step up and continue to serve. Department of Energy is very lucky to get Karen Evans to be the Assistant Secretary for Cyber and Energy Security and Emergency Response. I got to work with her on her e-government and information technology role when I was at the Office of Management and Budget, and she is a consummate professional, a career person who worked her way up through the system. And Karen, thank you for your service. Congratulations. I'm not going to ask any tough questions. That's your reward for your service. Simmons, on the other hand, no. Dan Simmons is up for Assistant Secretary for Energy Efficiency, and you know this job well because you've been there as acting, and we've had a chance to interact. I appreciate your answers to Senator Smith, and as you know, I've been working on this energy efficiency legislation for quite a while with Senator Shaheen. It's actually been 7 years, and some of it's been passed. Some of it is passed the Senate, but not the House. Senator Murkowski has been key to getting this through the Senate with a big vote because she included it in her broader energy legislation. And she, among others, on both sides of the aisle, are very supportive of energy efficiency. By the way, our legislation is the equivalent of taking 22 million cars off the road in terms of the savings on emissions over a period of 15 years. And, you know, there's no jobs lost. In fact, the one estimate is it creates about 190,000 new jobs. So energy efficiency is a way to achieve environmental objectives that many of us have, but to do so without hurting the economy. In fact, in many respects, helping the economy and making our workers more efficient, therefore more able to compete in global marketplaces. So it's a win-win-win sort of approach, and I just appreciate your commitment to it. Secretary Perry was here before us talking about his interest in energy efficiency, so you've got a boss who cares about it. Let me ask you about the Tenant Star program. We're finally getting that up and going. That's one of the things that did pass, and it incentivizes tenants, as you know, to have energy efficient structures. It gives them, it's like the Energy Star program, as you know, it lets them have a certificate, a placard up. We have, I think, 47 different tenants who have now stepped forward, so they want to be part of this program. One in Cleveland, Ohio, by the way, Forest City, and I commend Forest City for their advocacy of this for a long time. What's your view of the energy efficiency program generally, and specifically Tenant Star and its implementation?
So I think energy efficiency is very important. That energy efficiency really is one key driver to overall economic efficiency. A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go to Pennsylvania and to visit Martin Guitars. They made acoustic guitars for Crosby, Stills and Nash, Paul Simon, and other people I like. And but what's fun about visiting the factory is seeing what they've done with their chiller and cooler to become, you know, I think it was to reduce their electricity consumption by about a half. And we were recognizing them through DOE's Better Plants program, as in companies that have been leaders and are willing to share what they're working with others. So that is one thing that they're doing, and it's great to highlight those activities. The Tenant Star program, I'm not familiar enough with that to comment on it, but I will look into it.
Yeah, I appreciate looking into it and making sure it's implemented properly. And again, we're finally launching it. It passed in 2015 in this body and in the House. So it's been a couple of years. It's time for us to get it up and going. And people are excited about it. The real estate industry is excited about it, and it's going to help with regard to efficiency in buildings. The other building efficiency part of our legislation that passed the Senate but not the House is to update and develop better building codes. And we have this as part of the legislation because we know that's a critical part of energy efficiency is buildings, commercial buildings, residential, all the above. It requires the Department of Energy to provide model building codes, but also provide the states with technical assistance to adopt and implement building codes and ensure that we have, you know, the opportunity to get best practices from around the country. When Secretary Perry again appeared before the committee, he said he was supportive of that. Specifically, will you commit today to working with me to advance building codes and ensure that DOE remains engaged in the building code development process?
Yes, we will definitely remain engaged in the building code development process.
Is there more you think the Department of Energy should be doing in terms of energy efficiency, even absent our legislation?
Not familiar enough with the legislation to add on to it at this point, but Yeah, I don't know of any additions in terms of energy efficiency.
Yeah, I'm suggesting even without the legislation, is there more you'd like to do? But we'll continue this conversation. I appreciate your commitment today on the building codes front, and look into Tenant Star and be sure that's being implemented properly. And we look forward to, once again, under the leadership of Senator Murkowski, getting some legislation to the President's desk. Thank you.